What's up, everybody? We are back beyond the gates. I enjoyed this episode. This was really a cute, fun episode. Everybody was dressed to the nines. Everybody looked good. Um, I'm not surprised that Chelsea agreed to do Smitty's article. Like she agreed to be interviewed for it. I'm not shocked. I'm glad she agreed. It's good to see Smitty, working on something for him, getting his career back on track. Good for him. You know what I mean? He need to get Martin in line though, but good for him that he finally got something else to focus on. I'm glad Samantha, she got to go to the fashion show and stuff because she didn't even know she was going. She kept trying to angle her way into going because she didn't think that she was gonna be there. So I'm glad they let her go and stuff. That's good for her. To experience stuff like that. She got to experience a whole lot in this episode, and I'm happy for her. We're gonna get more on that in a moment because I see some mess coming up with that though. I am glad that Smitty and Martin had that conversation. As far as Samantha's dating life goes, as far as them letting her date now, I'm glad they agreed that what she could start dating because I'm pretty sure Martin and Smitty are gonna be picking these dudes out, making sure they on the up and up, they respectful. So I know that's gonna be fun. Martin running for president, I feel like he needs to listen to his grandparents and not run. Because with this secret that's going on that they're keeping, now is not the time to run. Like he really needs to listen to them. And I hope he does. I really hope that he rethinks this whole thing. Because that would be a horrible thing to do at this moment. Anyway, moving on from that. Ted, I mean, he's known for a while that Kat was eventually going to leave his practice. I don't know why it's taking him so long to find another assistant or somebody to help, manage the practice and stuff like that. Handle the day-to-day stuff that Kat was handling. It's that hard for you to find somebody. Like, sir, you known for quite some time she was going to leave. You should have been out looking. He too busy paying people off. That's his problem, trying to hide his dirt. That's what you get. Now go find somebody to be your new assistant. Cause she about to bounce. So you need to figure that out, turtleneck. So anyway, I felt bad for Danny. She was just sitting there looking at photos and stuff, like, looking all depressed because she felt like, damn, this is the last show, Chelsea gonna do, and what am I gonna do? I'm like, Danny, get up and go find something else to do. And stop waddling around all self-loathing and stuff. Get up off your ass and go figure out your next step, your next chapter. I'm glad Andre came by, to let her know, like, listen, you did everything you could for Chelsea. Chelsea gonna take all the stuff that you taught her and, apply that to her new business. Like, you did everything for her. You really helped shape her career. You should take pride in that, and focus on you, pretty much. But she had to remind Andre, like, listen, Chelsea and them coming over, you need to be on your best behavior. They can't be knowing that, we knocking boots. So you need to act like we not doing that. Act like I just called you over here basically to take photos behind the scenes stuff. You don't be doing nothing kinky. Just relax. They are so hot together though. I love how this show utilizes social media and really has, Chelsea and Kat live streaming and talking with their followers and stuff. I really love how they dive into that because that's so relatable to what goes on today. Like, so many people are influencers and, content creators and, getting their followers up and, letting their followers and fans know about the new merchandise they got coming out, the new product, like what's next on the agenda. I love how they utilize that, and I love that Kat and Chelsea really had Samantha helping out, had her, handling their live stream and stuff. That was pretty dope. And, Samantha was living for it. Like, she loved every second of it. And I'm happy for her. Like, she was really enjoying this. which is pretty good. They opening her up to a whole nother world. I don't know if Smitty and Martin gonna be too happy in the long run, but I'm glad Samantha, is happy about it. Um, I don't blame Nicole for being worried about Danny though. I don't blame her for being worried. She worried about her sister moving forward because now, that Chelsea's doing her final runway show, her final fashion show. How is Danny going to move forward from this? And that's what she really worried about. And I'm glad that Bill and Haley Ass did not show up to this fashion show acting a fool. I'm glad they didn't come. This show went off without a hitch. Thank God. Because I know Vernon and, Anita, they're worried about Danny too. About what her life is going to look like moving forward after this. You know, like what her next chapter, like that's pretty much what the whole family worried about, like what her next chapter is going to look like. So anyway, moving on from that, I was so freaking happy that finally we got a scene with Ted and Martin talking, because I was just talking about that before, how we never see Ted and Martin talk, and they're supposed to be father and son, but yet we never get scenes with them. So I'm so happy that we finally got some scenes, and Martin was bringing him up to speed on what's been going on with Tyrell and the bullying and stuff like that. You know what? I had to agree with Ted. As much as you want to help your kid, you gotta somewhat just fall back, and let them figure this stuff out for themselves. Because if you do everything for them, you fight their battles all the time for them, you're doing it at a detriment to them. Because then they're going to get so comfortable with you jumping in all the time, they're not going to know how to handle things for themselves, and they're going to always look to you to solve their problems. So I do get where Ted is coming from, but I also understand Martin and Smitty. It's hard for them as parents to just sit back and do nothing when their kid is going through stuff, when their kid is hurting and, stuff in school ain't right. It's hard for them to sit back and do nothing. That is a very hard thing to do. So I get all of them. I really do. I understand all of them because they all have valid points. But I lean more towards Ted's point of view in a way, because it's like Tyrell old enough now. Let him figure this out. How he want to get himself out of this. How he wants to deal with a bully. How he wants to deal with the humiliation that's going on in school. How he want to deal with it. The parents, Smitty and Martin should just be there to counsel him if he needed. To talk to him and just keep reiterating to him that he can come to them whenever he need to open up. No judgment, no nothing, no them overreacting. Oh, I'm gonna go to the principal. None of that. Just come talk to us. Keep an open dialogue. And that's what they need to do. I love that Tomas was there though. I really do. I love that Tomas was there. It was so funny how Vernon immediately got on Tomas. And I love how Vernon called Ted and Martin and stuff to come over there, and they all was grilling Tomas. And Tomas was in the hot seat. Like, they were firing off questions and stuff like that, just grilling him. But I love how they were just messing around with him because they not even worried about his ass. They not even, they not worried about him. He should be worried about Kat. That's the one he need to worry about. Because they know how Kat can be. Like, Kat could be a little Hellcat. No pun intended. She could be a Spitfire. And they was like, listen, we know we ain't got to worry about you. It's her that you need to worry about, because Kat don't play no games. And we've seen some of that. Like, Kat ain't to be messed with. So I love how they was messing around with him and stuff. That was a fun scene. I ain't mad at Kat, though, for putting Tomas to work. I'm not mad at it. I say, put his ass to work. He ain't there to just drink champagne or drink cocktails and hang out. No, you gonna do some work. You gonna handle this live stream real quick. You gonna mix and mingle. You could definitely tell, and I think we've been seeing it for quite some time now, that Anita misses being on the stage. Like, she misses singing. Because she donated one of her old 1960s gown, or her dresses, from her singing days to the charity show. She donated. She put it up for auction. And I love how Vernon went and put a bid on the dress to buy it back for her. I said, okay, Vernon. honestly, I wouldn't even be mad at Anita if she wanted to get back into the music game. Like, she don't necessarily have to go back to performing. She could be managing an artist or managing a group. Like, she can go into talent management. I think she should. You know what I'm saying? She need to figure out what her next chapter gonna look like, because she obviously still got a lot of life left in her. You know, it's better than sitting around just doing charity work all day. I mean, you could still do that, but do something else. Get back into the music game. This time as an executive. Maybe she could create a record label or something. I wouldn't mind her doing that. And let me tell you something. I was so here for this fashion show. Like, that fashion show was hot. Let me tell you, that's how you do a fashion show. Because Bold and the Beautiful really need to take notes. That's how you rip the runway. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do it. And I love how Chelsea got Samantha to walk down the runway and stuff. Like, she asked her to be a part of the show. I think that was pretty dope. Like, Martin and Smitty were shocked. Them, Naomi, they were super surprised that Samantha was a part of the show. Samantha was getting praise not only from the family, but she was getting praise from directors, like all the behind the scenes people. They were really, happy with her performance. And Samantha would love to do it full time. She was like, shit, I want to do this forever. And here go Martin, slow your roll. See, that's what I'm talking about. Martin, he don't like nobody having no job. Martin don't like nobody having no job that ain't got nothing to do with his job. But when Danny told Samantha, oh, we'll talk about it later, I have a feeling that Danny is going to get Samantha into the modeling game. She's going to be her new project. I feel like she's going to take Samantha under her wing, try to get her into some fashion shows and stuff. And I have a feeling Martin and Smitty are not going to be too happy about it. But my thing is this. I could see Smitty coming around to it. Smitty is more open-minded than Martin. He's easier to talk to than Martin. Martin is a very stern, old school kind of soul where he going to be like, no, my daughter not modeling. So I could see that being a conflict. It's going to be an issue. I feel like it's definitely going to be an issue with Martin. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here to see, like, where this story is going to go. Like, is Danny going to, approach Samantha with getting into modeling? I can see her doing it. I could definitely see her doing it, because Danny is not happy about possibly not being a part of the fashion world anymore, about, being a part of modeling. So I could see her taking that girl on, and her and Martin coming into conflict over it. I think it'll be fun. I love the ending to the show when, Chelsea came out and stuff like that. She was modeling her handbags, her purse, letting the world know, like, this is coming out. And I love how she gave her mother her flowers, and gave her all the credit for helping her career and stuff like that. That was beautiful. And I know Danny really appreciated that, and Danny needed that. She needed to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that they're on the same page with that. This was a cute episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was fun. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you all thought. And I will see you all later. Have a good night. Peace.